Hello dear learners, I, A.S. Kulkarni, welcome you on this presentation on surgical dressings and supplies. Learning outcomes of this presentation are, after completion of the presentation, you will be able to understand the various types of surgical dressings and remember the ideal properties of surgical dressings. Roadmap of this presentation. First, we will see the introductory part of the surgical dressings. Then we will move to properties required for surgical dressing. Afterwards, we will see various types of surgical dressings. And at last, we will see the preparation and packing of cotton. In this slide, we will see the introductory part of surgical dressings. So, surgical dressings is a term applied to material used for a dressing of wound. So, any material which are used to dressing of wound. You can see in this picture. So, this is an surgical dressings which are applied on the wound to protect that particular injurious part or to heal that particular wound as early as possible. So here remember, any type of material here which is applied on the injurious part for healing called as surgical dressings. So these are basically employed as protectives, absorbents or support for a disease for injured tissue. So here the surgical dressings which are applied as a protectives, absorbent or support. So it gives the protection to the injurious part or to the wound. Also it will absorb the fluid which is secreted by the injurious tissues. And also it gives support to the injurious part or to the wound. So for this purpose here the surgical dressings which are applied. Before going to actual presentation or the next point here is a reflection spot for you. What are the qualities required for surgical dressings? You just pause the presentation, try to write the answer for it and then play the presentation. Yes, you are right. So here we'll see the properties are required for the surgical dressing. So here we are applying that surgical dressing for the healing purpose or as a protectives as well as a support. So definitely it should have some properties or it should passes some criteria. So let's see the first property here required for the surgical dressings. So surgical dressing must be porous to water vapors. So it will help to comes out the fluids which is present in that particular injurious part or it permits the vapors. Second property, it must be capable of absorbing excess secretion. So the injurious part will produce or will secrete some fluids. So here the surgical dressing should absorb that particular fluid which is secreted by the injurious part. So it should act as an absorbent. Also it should not adhere to the wound surfaces. If it adhere at the injurious part, so definitely it may leads to the further injury with that injurious part. So it should not adhere to the wound surfaces. Also it do not interfere with the wound healing. So we are applying this particular surgical dressing as a protectives or the support purpose. if it will interfere with the wound healing, so there is a no any use of that particular dressings. So it should not interfere with the recovery of the injurious part. Also, it do not produce the tissue reaction. If the reaction which takes place after applying the surgical dressing the injurious part, so it may lead to the further or increase the injury. So it should not produce any tissue reaction. Also, it must be impervious to microorganisms. So it should be sterile one. It should not act as a nutrient to the microorganisms. So it acts as a barrier for the microorganism or the entry of a microorganism, as well as the surgical dressing should be sterile one. Also, it must have smooth surfaces and good tensile strength. So if rough surfaces are there, so definitely it will produces some reaction or the fractions after applying, so it may lead to the further injury with the that particular applied part. So it should or it must have the smooth surface. Also, here we are applying the some pressure to stay that particular surgical dressings at the site of administration. So it should not break when we are applying the force. So it should have the good tensile strength. Also, it must be capable for preventing excessive movement of wound. Here, sir, we are applying some surgical dressings for the support purpose. If any fracture is there and this surgical dressing which is applied for this particular part or that particular part, so it have ability to inhibit the movement of that particular part. So it must have capable for preventing excessive movement of the. So these are the some properties should possess by the surgical dressings. Let's move to next point of this particular presentation. So in this slide we will see the types of surgical dressings. So here the surgical dressings which are classified on the 5 major groups, that is first one primary dressings or primary wound dressings, absorbents, bandages, adhesive tapes and the protectives. So let's see in detail. Here we will see the primary wound dressings. So here these types of dressings which are placed in a contact with the wound surfaces and are reinforced by other suitable materials. So you just remember here these types of dressing which are directly applied on the skin. So there is a direct contact with this primary wound dressing and the injurious part, and it reinforced by the other suitable material, that is other supportive material of the surgical dressings. So it absorbs the wound secretion and minimizes the maceration with the injured tissues. For example, surgical gauze, it is also called as absorbent gauze, and the plain gauze. So here we will see the surgical gauze. So this you can see in this picture, this is an surgical gauze. So it is in the form of laps. So whatever the size of the surgical dressings or this primary wound which is required, they will be cut and used for the dressings. So the surgical gauze have sufficient tensile strength and prepared by using the raw cottons. So it is used for the draining purpose. So Here, after surgery, these particular primary wounds are used to drain exudate from the major wound. Also, it is used to pack dental sockets, sinuses, etc. So, it is used to remove debris, pus without damaging the tissue. So, if injurious or the wound which will be form some secretions there, so it acts as a absorbent there. Also, these particular primary wound dressings are applied direct or with the direct contact with the injurious part. So cream or the ointment which is applied on this particular primary wound dressing, and then it is applied on the injurious part. So there is a direct contact between these primary wound dressings and the injurious part. Moving to the next, here we will see the absorbent type of surgical dressings. So these are mainly employed for absorbing blood and body fluids or the fluids of injurious tissue and other discharges. For example, surgical cotton, eye pads, sanitary napkin. So the main purpose of these absorbents is to absorb the fluid secreted by the injurious part or the wound, or it also used for the other purposes. So here we will see the eye pads. So here these eye pads which is prepared in a sterile form or the pack, and it is used to cover the eye. You can see in this picture, so it is in circular shape, so it is used to cover the eyes. Also in absorbent, here sanitary napkins which are included, so it is also called as V pads, maternity pads. So it has an ability to hold high fluids. You can see in this picture. So this is a sanitary napkins. So outer surface of this particular sanitary napkin, there is a material like a water repellent material. So extra covering is there with the help of water repellent material. So it will help to stay that particular fluid in the napkins. So these are the two examples of absorbent surgicals. So they are used for the different purposes. Let's move to the next type. Here we will see the bandages as a surgical dressings. So these are mainly used to hold dressings in a place to provide support and pressure. So these are bandages which are used for the supportive purposes it is applied after the primary wound dressings. So that primary wound dressing will stay at the site of the application. For example, some common wound dressing are the bandages, muslin bandages, and some elastic bandages. So this is the common gauze bandage, so which are mainly used to provide support to the primary wound dressings. So it is made up of a surgical or absorbent type of gauze. They are reasonably free from loose threads. So here the threads which are compactly placed, so it gives support to the primary wound dressings. So these are applied on the injurious part with the help of pressure. If the loose threads are there, so it will be break there. So that's why it should be free from loose threads. So when we are applying the pressure, so here that primary dressings will stay at the site of application. So here this particular common gauze bandages used to provide support to the primary wound dressings. Next, that is muslin bandages. So they are strong and used where the common bandage doesn't provide adequate strength or support. So this is an particular muslin type of bandage. It is also used to give the support, but it has an good mechanical strength as compared to the common gauze bandage. So these are used where the common gauze bandage doesn't provide the adequate strength. So it is also used to give the support to the primary wound dressings. Next, that is elastic bandages. So these are the two types, that is oven elastic bandages and crepe bandages. So here oven elastic bandages, which are made of webbing and contains rubber threads. So these are prepared by using the rubber material. So due to that particular rubber material, it provide good support to the injurious part or to the primary dressings will stay at the site of application. So it has a good strength. It will not break when we applying the more pressure. Next, that is crepe bandages. So here these bandages doesn't have the elastic material, but the length of this particular bandages is more or the twice as compared to the oven elastic bandages. So the elasticity is due to the special weaving with or at the time of preparation of these crepe bandages, and it is mainly used for a bandaging of varicose vein. So just remember here, so the oven elastic bandages have a rubber material and the crepe bandage doesn't have any rubber material. So the elasticity with the crepe bandages is due to its length. So both are used for the bandaging purposes. Let's move to the next. Here we will see the adhesive tapes. So these are of two types, that is rubber based adhesive tapes and acrylated based or acrylated adhesive tapes. So let's see the rubber based adhesive tapes here. So they are cheaper and used when maximum adhesiveness and backing strength is required. So here these types of adhesive tape used to fix the primary wound dressings at the site of application. So it gives the more support to the primary wound dressing to stay that particular dressing at the site of application. So it will be stick at the site of the application. So due to these properties, it will provide good support or good backing strength to that particular wound dressings. So these are commonly used to fix the primary wound dressing at the site of application. Next, acrylated adhesive tapes. These are mainly used in operative and post-operative surgical dressings where the minimum skin trauma is required. So at the time of preparation of these acrylated adhesive tapes, some medicinal drugs which are incorporated. For example, zinc oxide adhesive tape, capsicum plaster and the belladonna plaster. Also, Tegaderm Plus is an example of acrylated adhesive tapes. So just remember here the rubber based adhesive tapes which are used to fix the primary wound dressings. It doesn't have any medicinal drug, but in the case of acrylated adhesive bandages, so here these adhesive tapes have some medicinal drug which are directly applied on the injurious part. Let's move to the next. Here we will see the last type of surgical dressing, that is protectives. So these are employed with different purposes like cover, wet dressings and the poultices. So it is also used to retain the heat at the site of application. Also it prevents the escape of moisture from wet dressings and compress. It includes some plastic sheeting, rubber sheeting or coated papers with a wax or plastic. You can see in this picture. So this is an protective type of surgicals, so which are applied after application of the primary wound dressing. So it gives support to that particular primary dressing. Also it is used to retain the heat at the site of injurious part. Also it helps to escape or prevent the escape of moisture with the wet dressings. You can see in this picture. So it is applied after application of the primary dressing. So it will fix that particular primary dressing at the site of application. Also it will help to retain the heat at the site of injurious part. So this is an protectives and its applications. So we have seen the 5 types of surgical dressing, that is primary wound dressings, absorbent type of surgical dressings, bandages, adhesive tapes, and last, that is protectives. So let's move to the next. Here we will see the absorbent cotton. So this absorbent cotton consists of epidermal trichomes of the seeds cultivated species of Gossypium herbaceum, Gossypium bavardens and other species of Gossypium. So here the absorbent cotton, which is mainly prepared by using the species of this Gossypium family. So here we will see the preparation of the cotton. So here the capsules of this species which are taken, that is 3 to 5 balls, and then it is subjected to process of combing. So here the short fibers are separated from these capsules. So this process is called as a ginning process, or you can say that a ginning process. So here the first steps which is involved in the preparation of cotton is ginning. So the small fibers which are separated from the longer one. After that the combers is nothing but the short fibers which are separated from the capsule. They are boiled for 10 to 15 hours with a dilute caustic soda solution to remove the natural waxes and coloring matter. So this process is called as saponification process. So the saponification process is used to remove the natural waxes and coloring matter on the surfaces of the fiber. So after this step, here bleaching with done with the combers with the help of chlorinated soda solution. So after that, here these particular fibers which are treated with a dilute hydrochloric acid. So the dilute hydrochloric acid here added after the bleaching with chlorinated soda. So here after that the alkali which is removed, and the traces of the HCl on the fibers which are removed by washing these fibers with the distilled water. After washing, here these particular fibers which are dried and converted it into a sheet form, and they are packed, and after packing this cotton will be sterilized with the help of gaseous sterilization by using ethylene oxide. So these are the steps which are involved in the preparation of cotton. So let's see the packing of absorbent cotton. So here after drying or after making the sheet, here this sheet which are rolled here, so rolling is done with the cotton. So here not more than 500 gram of the weight will be packed there. So the limit for packing of absorbent cotton is 0.5 kilogram. So it is packed with continuous lap with the help of thin paper running with entire lap, and after that it is sealed in a well closed container. You can see in this picture. So here absorbent cotton which is packed with the laps by using the thin paper. So after the lapping, this particular cotton which is stored or which is sealed in a well closed container. So this is about the packing of absorbent cotton. So it is packed with a continuous laps in a thin paper, and then it is sealed with the help of suitable container. So this is about the preparation of cotton and packing of absorbent cotton. If you have any question, you can drop your question on my WhatsApp number or on my email ID. At last, thank you for patient listening. Thank you very much.